There is a war raging inside every man, a silent battle that few dare to speak aloud. On one side stands love, calm, steady, nurturing, demanding loyalty and patience. On the other side blazes desire, fiery, urgent, consuming, impossible to control. And yet society tells men they can have it all. Deep, unwavering love and unstoppable, burning desire, both in the same person at the same time. The truth? That is a lie, a beautiful, dangerous lie that sets men up for failure, disappointment, and confusion. Think about it. How often do you hear men say, "I want love, but I need passion," or watch them struggle silently, wondering why the woman they love so dearly no longer ignites the fire that once consumed them? It is not weakness. It is not betrayal. It is biology. It is psychology. It is the way human desire is wired. Love is safe. Love is predictable. Love is the anchor that keeps a man grounded when life turns cruel. It is consistency, loyalty, protection. It demands sacrifice, patience, and commitment. But there is a cost. The deeper a man falls into love, the calmer his internal storm becomes. He feels secure, he feels bonded, but in that security something begins to fade. The thrill, the adrenaline, the longing that desire once provided. Desire, on the other hand, is a fire. Desire does not ask for loyalty, it demands conquest. It does not crave comfort, it craves uncertainty. It thrives on the unknown, the unattainable, the tension between I want and I can't have. It is fleeting, insatiable, and often destructive. Desire wants to burn, and it cannot coexist with the safety and predictability that love provides. The moment love grows, desire shrinks. The moment desire is fulfilled, love feels threatened. And here is the uncomfortable truth. Men cannot have both. The same man who feels secure and bonded is unlikely to feel the raw thrill of desire. The same man who chases desire, who flirts with danger and novelty, is unlikely to feel deep, abiding love. Two different circuits in the brain, two different hormones, two opposing needs. Love is oxytocin, the chemical of bonding, attachment, and trust. Desire is dopamine, the chemical of risk, reward, and novelty. You cannot flood the system with both at the same time. The biology is clear, the psychology is undeniable. Yet men try. Oh, how they try. They tell themselves, she can be my love and my desire. I can feel secure in her arms and burned by her fire. And when it fails, when the passion fades or the bond weakens, they feel guilt, they feel shame, they feel confusion. They think something is wrong with them, but nothing is wrong. It is not weakness, it is not failure, it is truth. Love and desire are magnets pulling in opposite directions. The stronger one grows, the weaker the other becomes. Every man who has faced this knows the pain. The longing for a woman who is safe and devoted, yet excites and challenges. The frustration of wanting stability and chaos at the same time. The fear of losing love to desire or losing desire to love. It is a conflict as old as humanity itself. And it is time we stop lying to ourselves about it. Because understanding this war inside men is the first step to mastering it. The first step to honesty. The first step to living without regret. The first step to realizing that some sacrifices must be made, some truths accepted, and some illusions shattered. Men must stop chasing the impossible, the illusion that they can have both love and desire without consequences. The real mastery is choosing consciously, understanding clearly, and embracing the consequences of that choice. So listen carefully, because what you are about to hear is not comfortable. It is not sugar-coated. It is the raw, unfiltered truth about why men can't have both love and desire. And if you understand this, truly understand it, you will begin to see relationships, passion, and human nature in a way few ever do. This is the truth that separates men who are honest with themselves from men who are forever chasing shadows, confused, frustrated, and unfulfilled. Welcome to the war inside. Welcome to the truth about love and desire. Love is not a fire. Love is a fortress. It is the calm in the storm. The place where a man can lay down his burdens and finally breathe. It is not about excitement or unpredictability. It is about trust, consistency, and connection. Love is the quiet voice that says, I am here. I will not leave. I will stand by you no matter what. In love, a man finds security. His attachment system, the part of the brain that craves safety, relaxes. His heart slows. The anxiety, the urgency, the restless seeking all diminish. Love gives him a home for his emotions, a stable harbor in a turbulent world. This is why men often commit to relationships even when desire fades. The comfort of love, the bond it creates, the shared history, all of it is powerful, almost addictive. But here is the paradox. The very thing that makes love strong also weakens desire. Predictability, loyalty, and routine are the foundations of love, yet they are the enemies of passion. When a man knows exactly what to expect, when every touch, every word, every gesture is safe and familiar, the thrill that desire craves diminishes. Heart may be content, but the body, the primal instincts, begin to seek stimulation elsewhere. Psychologists call this the hedonic treadmill of love. We adapt, we get used to safety. The dopamine spikes that once made us feel alive and excited begin to fade. Love provides oxytocin, the bonding chemical, but it cannot sustain the rush of novelty that desire demands. This is why men sometimes look outside their committed relationships, not because they love less, but because desire needs the unknown, the unpredictable, the unattainable. Yet love is essential. Without it, desire alone becomes hollow. Desire without love is a spark that burns fast and dies, leaving emptiness and regret. Love, even when desire fades, anchors a man. It gives his life meaning, connection, and the kind of intimacy that cannot be replicated in fleeting encounters. Love teaches patience, sacrifice, and loyalty. It allows a man to grow beyond himself, to care for something greater than his own pleasure. In short, love is stability. Love is nourishment for the soul. Love is the heart's home, the place where a man can feel safe, cherished, and understood. But it comes at a cost. The fire of desire cannot burn as bright within its walls. Understanding this is the key to understanding men. Men are wired to seek both, yet their brains are incapable of sustaining both fully at the same time. Love will calm the storm, but it will also dim the thrill. Desire will ignite the fire, but it will never offer safety. The truth is not cruel, it is simply reality. And the sooner a man recognizes this, the sooner he can navigate relationships without illusions or self-deception. If love is a fortress, desire is wildfire. Desire is raw. Desire is urgent. Desire is chaos wrapped in longing, and it exists outside of predictability. It is the pulse that makes a man restless, the hunger that cannot be satisfied by loyalty or safety alone. Desire is the chemical rush, the dopamine surge, the thrill of uncertainty that sets the body alight and the mind obsessed. Where love soothes, desire excites. Where love calms, desire consumes. Desire is built on the unknown, the unattainable, the dangerous. It craves challenge, novelty, and risk. It thrives in situations where there is tension between want and denial, where the chase is as intoxicating as the conquest. And here is the brutal truth. Desire is temporary. It cannot last. It cannot coexist with stability for long. The moment safety enters the equation, the moment love settles in, the fire begins to fade. Desire is primal. It is not rational. It does not care about bonds, commitments, or shared history. It responds to what is thrilling, exciting, or forbidden. This is why men feel drawn to the unknown, the alluring, the unpredictable. It is not necessarily betrayal or malice. It is biology, the dopamine circuits of the brain seeking stimulation. Men who deny this internal pull often feel frustration, guilt, and confusion, but denying desire does not make it disappear. It only grows in the shadows. The danger lies in the misconception that desire can coexist with love in its purest form. Men try to hold on to both, to capture the thrill while staying loyal, to maintain excitement while committing. And yet, psychology is clear. Dopamine and oxytocin operate on different tracks. When oxytocin rises, when love and bonding deepen, dopamine-driven desire declines. When dopamine surges, when excitement and novelty spike, the stability of love is threatened. Two forces, two opposing currents, two irreconcilable needs. Desire is intoxicating because it promises something more than safety. It promises the spark, the thrill, the feeling of being fully alive in the moment. It is why men chase fantasies, flirt with risk, and crave novelty even in long-term relationships. It is the fire that reminds them they are human, that they are alive, that there is something beyond routine, beyond comfort, beyond predictability. Without desire, life can feel dull, even suffocating. Without love, desire is empty, hollow, and fleeting. This is why the tension between love and desire is inevitable. A man cannot fully embrace one without sacrificing the other. He cannot anchor himself in the calm waters of love while simultaneously chasing the wildfire of desire. One must give way for the other to exist. And understanding this, truly understanding this, is the difference between clarity and chaos, between mastery and self-deception. Desire is not a mistake. Desire is not betrayal. Desire is a fundamental part of male psychology. It is a force that must be acknowledged, respected, and understood. Ignoring it does not destroy it. It intensifies it. Denying it does not make it disappear. It festers in the background, waiting to break free. Desire is the fire that can either destroy a relationship or illuminate it. It is the tension, the thrill, the edge that reminds a man he is alive. But it comes with a price. The stronger the desire, the weaker the bond of love becomes. And the stronger the love, the dimmer the fire of desire burns. This is the paradox. This is the war inside. And this is the truth that men must confront if they ever hope to navigate love, desire, and relationships without illusions. Now we arrive at the core of the paradox. Why men cannot have both love and desire at the same time. It is not moral failure. It is not weakness. It is biology. It is psychology. It is the way human brains are wired. And the truth is brutal, unflinching, and unavoidable. Love and desire operate on two completely different systems within the male brain. Love is fueled by oxytocin, the hormone of bonding, trust, and attachment. It encourages security, stability, and commitment. Oxytocin makes a man feel safe, content, and devoted. It builds loyalty, nurtures relationships, and creates emotional intimacy. But oxytocin also signals the brain that the need for novelty is diminished. The fire of uncertainty, the thrill of the unknown, desire begins to fade. Desire, on the other hand, is fueled by dopamine, the chemical of risk, reward, and novelty. Dopamine thrives on uncertainty, unpredictability, and the chase. It drives men to explore, pursue, and conquer. It ignites passion, hunger, and urgency. But dopamine is fleeting. It cannot sustain the slow, steady, and stable rhythms that love demands. And when desire rises, the brain begins to deprioritize attachment, security, and long-term bonding. Two chemicals, two circuits, two opposing needs, each demanding attention, but unable to coexist in their purest forms. The stronger the bond of love, the weaker the fire of desire becomes. The stronger the flame of desire, the more fragile the bonds of love appear. Men are not flawed. They are not unfaithful by default. They are human beings caught in a biological tug-of-war, torn between security and passion, comfort and excitement, stability and chaos. This conflict explains much of the male experience in relationships. It explains the restlessness that creeps in after months or years of routine. It explains the allure of the unknown, the attraction to temptation, the longing for something different, even when they are deeply committed. It is not that a man loves less. It is not that he desires irresponsibly. It is that the brain cannot serve two masters at once. And when men try, they create internal chaos, confusion, and inevitable dissatisfaction. Understanding this conflict is not about excusing bad behavior. It is about clarity. It is about honesty. Men who acknowledge this tension, who accept the biological and psychological reality of their minds, can navigate relationships with awareness instead of illusion. They can make conscious choices rather than chasing impossible fantasies. They can understand why the heart feels one way while the body craves another. The war between love and desire is ancient, primal, and unavoidable. It is not solved by willpower, promises, or good intentions alone. It is solved by understanding, awareness, and courageous honesty. To ignore it is to walk blindly into frustration. To understand it is to wield the power of choice, to decide where to anchor and what fire to ignite. This is the psychological truth men must face. Love and desire are not allies. They are opposing forces. They are magnets pulling in opposite directions. And the moment a man understands this, he begins to see his relationships, his longings, and his choices with clarity, the clarity that separates confusion from mastery, chaos from control, and illusion from truth. Society tells men a lie, a seductive, comfortable lie. It says, you can have it all. You can love deeply and desire endlessly. You can be devoted and faithful while still chasing fire and excitement. You can have stability and thrill, comfort and passion, safety and chaos, all at the same time. And men believe it, they chase it, they promise it, they commit to the impossible. And when reality inevitably shatters the illusion, they feel guilt, shame, and failure. They look in the mirror and ask themselves, why can't I be enough? Why do I crave what I have already secured? Why am I restless even when I am committed? The truth is not cruel. It is biology. It is psychology. It is the law of human desire. Love and desire are opposing forces. One strengthens at the expense of the other. One dominates, the other fades. Cannot flood your brain with oxytocin and dopamine simultaneously and expect both to peak indefinitely. The harder men try to have both, the more internal conflict they create. This myth is dangerous because it sets impossible standards. It tells men that feeling desire outside of a loving relationship is weakness or betrayal, when in fact it is natural. It tells men that deep love and thrilling desire can coexist eternally, when in fact biology and psychology prove otherwise. And the damage is not just personal, it ripples outward, straining relationships, creating disappointment, and leaving emotional wreckage in its wake. Men who chase both without understanding the conflict often fall into the trap of comparison and fantasy. They measure the mundane realities of long-term love against the fiery illusions of desire. They fantasize about excitement while overlooking the profound depth and security love provides. They seek novelty outside the relationship, believing that desire must always be fulfilled, even at the cost of loyalty. The hardest truth? There is no perfect solution. There is no secret formula. There is no way to have both love and desire at their peak simultaneously. Any man who tells you otherwise is either lying or deceived himself. Accepting this reality is not defeat, it is liberation. Understanding this truth allows men to navigate relationships consciously rather than blindly chasing a myth. It allows them to choose, to decide whether to anchor in love, embracing stability at the cost of fading passion, or to chase desire, embracing thrill at the cost of loyalty and security. This is the turning point in understanding human psychology. The moment a man stops chasing the illusion of having it all is the moment he gains clarity. The moment he accepts the paradox that love and desire cannot coexist fully is the moment he can act with honesty, integrity, and courage. And it is this clarity that separates men who struggle endlessly from men who master their relationships and themselves. Most avoid you cannot have both. You cannot fully embrace the safety of love while chasing the wildfire of desire without paying a price. And here is the painful, inescapable truth. A man must decide. To choose love is to anchor himself in stability, trust, and devotion. It is to accept that the thrill of desire will fade, that the spark of passion may dim, that the unknown will no longer call as loudly. Love asks for sacrifice, the surrender of endless chasing, the relinquishing of fantasy, the acceptance of routine. But in return, love gives depth, intimacy, connection, and a bond that endures beyond fleeting pleasure. It offers a fortress for the heart, a place where a man can feel whole, secure, and understood. To choose desire is to chase the thrill, the excitement, the fire that makes life feel alive in the moment. It is to embrace uncertainty, risk, and passion. Desire offers intensity, intoxication, and the raw rush of the chase. But it comes with consequences. Desire is fleeting. Desire is unpredictable. Desire cannot sustain a bond, nurture loyalty, or create deep emotional intimacy. Men who chase desire over love may feel alive, but they also risk emptiness, guilt, and the collapse of meaningful relationships. And then there are those who try to cheat the system. Men who attempt to hold both, to capture passion while remaining loyal, to chase thrill without sacrificing stability. They are walking a tightrope over a chasm of chaos. Every step is precarious. Every compromise creates tension. Eventually, the weight of the impossible choice breaks them. This is why affairs, temptations, and distractions exist, not because men are inherently flawed, but because biology and psychology are unyielding. The hard choice is the ultimate test of awareness and integrity. It is not made lightly. It is not a decision for comfort or convenience. It is a decision that defines the trajectory of a man's life, his relationships, and his sense of self. Choosing love requires courage to sacrifice desire. Choosing desire requires courage to sacrifice security. Both paths demand honesty, clarity, and a willingness to face consequences without excuses. This choice separates men who are masters of themselves from men who are slaves to their impulses. It separates clarity from chaos, fulfillment from regret, reality from illusion. There is no middle ground. There is no perfect balance. The fire and the fortress will always pull in opposite directions. The question is not whether one can have both. The question is, which one are you willing to lose? Understanding this is liberation. Accepting this is strength. Choosing consciously rather than blindly is mastery. Every man who faces this truth gains insight into his desires, his emotions, and his relationships. And every man who ignores it condemns himself to confusion, dissatisfaction, and the endless frustration of chasing the impossible. Now, the war inside must end, not by suppression, not by denial, but by understanding. The battle between love and desire is not a flaw in a man, it is the human condition. To face it is to see clearly. To face it is to gain power. To face it is to stop chasing illusions and start living with honesty, purpose, and courage. Men must confront themselves with brutal honesty. They must ask, do I choose the safety of love, knowing the fire of desire will fade, or do I chase the thrill of desire, knowing the stability of love will be lost? This is not a question of morality or virtue. It is a question of awareness and responsibility. The strongest men are not those who indulge every urge, nor those who suppress every desire. The strongest men are those who see the truth and act with conscious intent. Awareness transforms chaos into clarity. It allows men to stop blaming themselves for what is natural, to stop punishing themselves for the tug of desire or the need for security. It allows them to navigate relationships without illusions, without unrealistic expectations, without self-deception. Awareness teaches a man to respect both forces within him, to understand their nature, and to act with integrity. This is where true mastery begins. Mastery is not about having it all. Mastery is not about being perfect. Mastery is about knowing your limits, understanding your nature, and choosing deliberately. Love will demand sacrifice, desire will demand risk. Each choice carries consequences. But once a man embraces the paradox, he no longer wanders blindly. He no longer fights an impossible battle. He moves with purpose, strength, and self-respect. So hear this clearly. The struggle between love and desire is inevitable, but it is not insurmountable. The fire can be understood. the fortress can be embraced. One does not have to destroy the other if one accepts the truth and chooses consciously. The question is no longer, why can't I have both? The question is, am I willing to face reality and make the choice that aligns with my life and values? Men who face this truth gain clarity, freedom, and control over their lives. They stop chasing shadows. They stop blaming fate. They stop feeling incomplete. They step into honesty, integrity, and awareness. They understand that mastery is not about possessing both love and desire simultaneously. It is about understanding both, respecting both, and choosing with conscious intent. The paradox is real. The tension is undeniable. But in the confrontation lies power. In the acceptance lies freedom. And in the choice lies the man who finally stops being a slave to illusions and begins being the master of himself. This is the truth of love and desire. This is the reality every man must face, and those who do are the men who live with purpose, clarity, and unwavering self-respect.